Welcome to your source for research, innovation, news, insights, and commentary. We welcome you to your Research Business Daily Report, where we're sponsored today and this week by Socratic Technologies, whose proprietary tools and methodologies tackle marketing complexities so that you can make more confident business decisions. I want to share with you what I thought was an absolutely startling statistic about marketers and their lack of dependence on data in making decisions. It comes from an August 2012 Corporate Executive Board study that involved 800 marketing executives from Fortune 1000 companies, and it found that the vast majority of them rely way too much, it may seem, on intuition. On average, the study says, marketers depend on data for just 11% of all customer-related decisions. These marketers put data last on their list of pieces of information that they need and want when they make a decision. More than half of what they felt was vital information came from previous experience or customer intuition. Now, my initial reaction to this was shock. My second was to look for corroborating sources for this almost 2-year-old study. Well, there is, to some extent. It's in a Heidrick and Struggles and Forrester researcher joint research project that was made public about 1 month ago. Marketers are dealing with more data today than in August 2012. That's absolutely indisputable. But in spite of this, the Heidrick and Struggles study states that more than half of CMOs today are rarely or never using big data to make marketing decisions. So the way I look at it, the 11% figure is a good and a bad shock to the marketing research census. That marketers didn't feel it necessary or worthwhile to rely on data is an indictment of the reputation, standing, and trustworthiness of, among several internal constituencies, the research departments that those companies have. However, if only 11% of marketing decisions are based on data, what a marketing opportunity for the research function at these companies, wherever they may be. Next, today we present the first of a 2-part interview with Eric Salama, the CEO of the Kantar Group. As I think you will find during our conversation, there are several fascinating end-user client-related information bits. I began our conversation with a query about real-time data and if customers are really as hot about its use as their talk would indicate.
No, I don't think customers know how to use it, and I don't think we yet know how to make best use of it. So we've done some interesting pilots for a number of clients where we have incorporated it into things like brand tracking, and we can really cut turnaround times and make it more predictive, and it makes it feel much more relevant to clients. So when you say can they make use of it, I think one of the issues is that research departments within client organizations are coming under a lot of pressure because people feel that they're too slow, they're too backward looking. And so I think this is also about helping our clients within the research departments actually show their organizations that they can be very contemporary and incorporate stuff. And so I think it's partly a content issue, but it's also partly addressing an image issue that research departments have within client organizations.
Are there particular real-time research tools and techniques out there that you think stand out as being either most easily usable or very, very highly impactful? Or maybe both?
I think there's a whole, we just moving away from the Twitter stuff, we use facial coding now to a much greater extent. So all of the copy testing that we do for Unilever and for the likes of Coke incorporates facial coding. We're about to roll it out into things like concept testing. Now that's very real time, and we know that that is giving us insight that we couldn't get through survey research.
Mm-hmm.
Quite often it's giving us the same insight, but it's not just rare occasions. On a lot of occasions, we're now getting insight about advertising that we wouldn't have got otherwise. Mm-hmm. And that's very real time. Mm-hmm. So I think there's a whole load of areas where some kind of behavioral data. I mean, I was with a partner this week, and we were looking at ways of getting real-time data in store back to sales teams so that they can really understand how they're doing from an out-of-stock point of view, how they're doing from a competitive point of view, looking at promotions and pricing. So the actionability of that kind of stuff is obviously much greater than anything that we've been able to do before.
Mm-hmm. Research departments are notoriously risk averse. How do you get them to a comfort level, even with something real time that they obviously should and may very well want?
We've had a few examples of clients saying to us, we want to completely rethink the way that we do whatever, brand tracking, customer satisfaction, advertising testing, pick whichever one you want. We've had quite a few examples of clients saying, we want to completely rethink this. And they will quite often not just ask us and our direct competitors, but they'll ask Google and Facebook and Twitter and others to come and give them a point of view as well. And for the most part, we've been successful in addressing those kind of pitches. Mm-hmm. And the approach that we've taken is let's map out a destination. So let's be clear where you want to end up, and here's where we think you can end up. But let's also be clear that you're not going to get from where you are today to that destination overnight. So let's also help you map out a path to get there. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That mixture of kind of revolution in terms of destination and evolution in terms of path to get there resonates pretty well, because most clients still want to throw away all of their KPIs, or they've got established ways of doing things and they're not about to chuck them all away for something new, but they do genuinely want to think through the implications of a lot of what's available in the technology and how consumers are changing.
So are you saying that in general, research departments' risk averseness is kind of being watered down a little bit?
And we've got a number of our clients who I wouldn't classify as risk averse at all. And we've got some clients who are a bit more risk averse, and they're under huge pressure from their organizations to address issues. And there's just, I think there's a lot of, you've covered some of the stuff that's going on in places like India on media measurement. Mm-hmm. And there's just a lot of misinformation out there as well. People, so you've got some people saying now, how on earth can you possibly measure media with only a sample of 10,000? In a country with whatever number of million, how can you possibly do that? So some of that just stems from people not understanding statistics. Some of it stems from a very legitimate concern that with census type information that is now available, the best thing to do is to combine panel type approaches with census type approaches, so kind of small data and big data. Mm-hmm. But you've got people who just throw out, panels are all rubbish. Can't possibly. So some of it is our research clients are having to deal with a lot of kind of noise, misinformation that exists out there, and some of them are scrambling to explain to their organizations why they ought to do things in a certain way.
You'll hear more from Eric tomorrow on several other matters. That's your Research Business Daily Report, sponsored by Socratic Technologies, whose proprietary tools and methodologies tackle marketing complexities so that you can make more confident business decisions. We hope you have a great research day, and you better be back to join us tomorrow to hear part 2 from Eric Salama.